The containment chamber hummed with an otherworldly energy. As Massey stood before the crystalline barrier, his reflection distorted in its iridescent surface. Beyond it, the alien queen sat upon a throne that seemed to grow from the floor itself, her silver skin catching the dim emergency lights like moonlight on water. Her forearms rested elegantly on the armrests, and her eyes, three of them, arranged in a triangle on her elongated face, fixed upon him with an intensity that made his old scar throb. Annie watched from the observation deck above, her fingers gripping the railing until her knuckles turned white. She had been Massey's partner for 5 years, through every diplomatic mission and first contact scenario the Earth Coalition had thrown at them. But nothing had prepared either of them for this moment. "Lower the barrier," Massey said, his voice steady despite the rapid beating of his heart. "Are you insane?" Annie's voice cracked through his earpiece. "Massey, we don't know what she's capable of. She destroyed 3 of our ships before we even got close enough to communicate." "She's not here to fight anymore," Massey replied, his hand instinctively moving to his left temple, where a jagged scar cut through his hairline, a mark he'd carried for 23 years. "Lower it." "That's an order." The barrier shimmered and dissolved into particles of light. The alien queen rose from her throne with a grace that defied her towering 8-foot frame. Each step she took resonated through the chamber, and Massey could feel the vibration in his bones. Around them, security personnel tensed, weapons trained on the approaching figure, but Massey raised his hand, signaling them to hold when she stood before him. The queen tilted her head, studying him with those 3 luminous eyes. Then, slowly, deliberately, she reached out with one slender hand. Her fingers, long and adorned with what looked like natural armor plating, moved toward his face. Massey didn't flinch. He had learned long ago that fear was a choice, and today, he chose curiosity over terror. The queen's fingertips touched his scar with a gentleness that seemed impossible from a being who had single-handedly decimated military vessels. The moment her skin made contact with his, Massey's vision exploded with images of forest of bioluminescent trees, a small human child wandering where no human should be, a young alien princess trying to help, trying to save him from the predators of her world. "So it was you," the queen whispered, her voice like wind chimes in a storm, speaking perfect English through some kind of telepathic translation. After all these years, Massey's breath caught in his throat. Memories he had buried, memories he thought were dreams or hallucinations from childhood trauma, came flooding back with crystal clarity. He had been 7 years old, part of the first colony ship that had crash-landed on Xanthia 7. Most of the colonists had died on impact. Massey and a handful of others had survived, scattered across an alien jungle that should have killed them within hours. He remembered running, being chased by something with too many teeth and not enough mercy. He remembered falling, hitting his head on a rock, blood streaming down his face. And then she had appeared. Not a queen, but a child like him, small and scared but brave. She had driven the predator away with some kind of sonic cry that made his ears ring. She had tried to stop his bleeding with leaves that glowed in the dark. She had stayed with him until the rescue team found him, then vanished into the forest before the humans could see her. "You saved my life," Massey breathed, his own hand coming up to cover hers. "I thought I dreamed you, and you saved mine," the queen replied, her 3 eyes beginning to shimmer with what could only be tears. "When my people found me with you, they wanted to execute me for making contact with an alien species. But I told them about your kindness, how you shared your water with me even though you were dying, how you smiled at me even though I must have looked like a monster to you." Annie had descended from the observation deck, unable to stay away. She approached carefully, her scientific mind racing to process what she was witnessing. "Massey," she said softly, "what's happening?" The queen turned her attention to Annie, and for a moment, Annie understood why this being had inspired such fear. There was immense power in those eyes, intelligence that spanned galaxies, and a will that could bend worlds. But there was also profound sadness. "I am Zelthara," the queen said, addressing them both now. "I have searched for Massey across the stars for 2 decades. When I became queen, I had the resources to finally find him. But my arrival was misinterpreted as an attack. The ships," Annie started, "were firing on my escorts. We defended ourselves. Zelthara's middle eye focused on Annie with surprising warmth. You are his bondmate? His partner, Annie clarified, though the blush creeping up her neck suggested the Queen's assumption wasn't entirely wrong. We worked together. Massey found his voice again, his hand still touching his scar, still feeling the echo of that child Queen's desperate attempt to save a dying human boy. Why did you search for me? After all this time? Zelthara's hands came together in a gesture that seemed both prayer and greeting. Because you were the first being from another world, who showed me that the universe was not to be feared, but embraced. You changed the course of my entire civilization with your simple act of sharing water. I had to find you. I had to thank you. I had to tell you that because of you, my people do not conquer, we connect. The chamber fell silent except for the gentle hum of the ship's engines. Two children, separated by biology and light years, had touched each other's lives in a moment of pure compassion. And now, grown into their own forms of leadership, they stood together again. Massey smiled, the scar on his temple catching the light. Then let's connect our worlds properly this time. No weapons, no fear. Just two old friends talking about the future. Zelthara's equivalent of a smileless soft glow that emanated from her chest plate filled the room with warmth. I would like that very much, Massey. Very much indeed. Annie watched as the human diplomat and the alien queen embraced, their reunion a bridge across the stars. She reached for her communicator, ready to call off all military alerts and begin the real work of peace. Sometimes, she realized, the universe's greatest alliances began with the smallest acts of kindness, remembered across time and space. And sometimes, a scar was more than just a mark, it was a promise kept, finally fulfilled.